a lot fewer of them. So the rest of these should go by pretty quick in comparison to the core rulebook. So versatile meta magic, it allows you to choose two different starting points on the tree for meta magic, which is very cool. It allows you to basically start at 2 points, allowing you to get a much different variety of meta magic spheres with your magic levels. Very nice. Mass Summoner lets you summon things, the mass summoning rules discussed in my summoning video, much easier. So watch that video if you want a commission of it. Uh, gradual magical luring is nice. It lets you get 3 magic levels per level. Very nice. Born Wizard lets you increase your luring level by 2 levels on the magical learning table on page 8. Very nice if you want to learn spells lickety split. Incomplete Gift is great for summoners who want some of these special advantages that require the gift. It counts as a gift for them, but it restricts your ability to cast spells, so it's basically for summoners. Sheely Essence lets you further upgrade your Sheely and make it more powerful. Sorry. Very good if you want to be a Sheely based character. Familiar. So this one is interesting because you don't need the gift for it or anything, and you can just pick it. And even if you're not much of a magical character, as long as you are like a warlock or something that has some decent magical regeneration, you can just have a free pet that follows you around and kills stuff. So it's pretty good. And I think, yeah, that's all of them for magic. So we can just go on to the next book. This is Venomous Essence, so we have to go to a different part of the book as well for this one. But let's start with the new advantages here. There's total accumulation, where you do not reduce your key accumulation for carrying out passive or active actions for the purpose of play. That means you always get your full accumulation no matter what you're doing during the turn. Very powerful. If you want to be a very active technician, pick this one. Martial Learning lets you learn key techniques by increasing level of learning by 2 levels. Very good. Imperceptible Key gives you a special plus 10 bonus to key concealment per level. Not as good, but if you want to be a sneaky dude, it's okay. Innate Power. Instead of using the base 5 heuristics, the character only uses power attribute and multiplies by 6 the amount that grants to him. So basically, you only use power for your key, but you can only use this one if you're using the unification of key points rule. So if you're using that one, it's pretty good. Unconnected Techniques. It allows you to learn domain techniques without the necessity of following the tree rules. So what that means you can do is you could just make a level 3 technique right off the bat. You don't need level 1 and 2 techniques first. Very good. Increased accumulation adds 1 or 2 based on your CP to the amount of key accumulations you have for all of them. Very good. Lots of free DP out of that one. Key Perception. It gives you plus 10 to key detection, so whatever. It's kind of meh. I wouldn't take it. Dual Limits. It allows you to have 2 limits instead of 1. Limits are pretty good, so if you want limits, take it. No Gestures is you do not reduce your key accumulation even if you're not able to use your hands for seals. If you don't use seals, no gestures, doesn't matter. So you just pick it for fun and get a free CP. It would cost you a CP, so don't take it, actually. It's bad. Unless you're using seals and you constantly get your hands tied up. Masterful Seals lets you summon things way easier. It's already easy, so it makes it basically impossible to fail. Very good for summoners who want to summon big stuff, or key summoners, say. Now, the next kind of advantage are Legacies of Blood in Venomous Essence, so let's talk about it. This will take some time as well, probably, because they are a bit complicated. I should just get 185, perfect. So the first one is Boon, Blood of the Aeon, Elemental Link. So what this lets you do is you pick an elemental affinity, and it gives you plus 10 to resistances and increase the base damage of elemental attacks from key magic or psychic points and stuff. It also reduces the MK cost of those elemental techniques by 5. There's one for every element, and it gives you some affinity and aptitudes for their particular element. If you want to specialize into a single element, this is a good bloodline to pick. I'd recommend it for key users or wizards who want to hard specialize into an element and only use that element. The Eyes of Death is Mondo OP. If you take it, you are Mondo OP. Every hit you do on someone's a crit unless it's a DR creature or they have a lot of Genosis. Also, your crits add 40 to their ability to see how bad they are. But to get that bonus, you do take a -10 to your attack ability. But you just auto crit on all your attacks. So you take a -10 to hits to always crit. Yeah, I'll take it. I believe technically you have to do at least 10% of their LP in damage for it to be an auto crit, but it's an auto crit. If you want to be really Mondo OP, take it. Eyes of the Soul. I thought I would have a quick. It basically lets you ignore darkness penalties and light penalties from your eyes, and lets you see anyways. You need Erudition to actually take it eventually, and allows you to use your key detection instead of notice and search. So if you are going hard into key detection, Eye of the Soul makes those other advantages that take your key detection, the class of unique key detection, very good. Legacy of the Moon. Based on the position of the moon, you get bonuses. So at a full moon, you get +5 to all your actions. On the last quarter, +10. First quarter, +15. +20 to everything on a new moon, and +2 to your regeneration. And during the eclipse, you get +30 to all actions and +8 to regeneration. This is a fun thematic one, and the effects it gives you are all pretty good, so I'd recommend it. In fact, most legacies are pretty good. The Blood of Ouroboros lets you make supernatural jumps, which allows you to basically cheat. You can surprise any adversary by having an initiative result of only 100 points more than instead of 150. And when you retreat, you do not suffer the flank penalties to your defense ability because you are not vulnerable. It's a fun one. It's not as good as the other ones, but it's still pretty cool. Blood of the Great Beasts. You receive 40 development points to choose any creature power you want, as if you had 5 Genosis, and the more CP you put into it, the more DP you get. It's pretty good. Monster abilities are powerful, and this is very powerful as well because of it. Eyes of Destiny. This one looks good, but it's kind of bad. At first, anyways. The main effect, where you can spend turns to observe someone to get bonuses against them, is pretty bad. They're pretty small bonuses, and you'll forget about them. The good part about that is, though, you can also use this to copy the key techniques that you see as well. And you use those techniques and can learn them at a discount. 15 MK less for level 1s, 25 less for level 2, and 40 less for level 3. It allows you to learn techniques by literally stealing them from people, which is kind of cool. Eternal Blood. It means you don't have any vulnerable points. And therefore, you cannot be instantly killed by a crit as well. And the only way for you to actually die is to have your con the value of your con times 20 in negative life points. So it's pretty good. And if you are bleeding out, you have +80 to stabilize. And you get a +40 PHR check or any resistance check to resist instant death. Really good. The Blood of Orochi. It gives you a few abilities. If you want to be a raging berserker kind of character who gets a demonic rage and just becomes more powerful, but potentially kill your friends and loved ones, and the only time you can stop it is by making an accessible willpower check or having 0 life points, then this is the one for you to be that raging berserker machine that kills everything around you, including your loved ones. It makes you a lot more powerful, giving you a plus 30 to your MA. It makes your willpower lower while you're doing it, which is kind of bad. But plus 30 to all your combat stuff and plus 2 to key accumulations is pretty good. Though you do begin bleeding out the moment you use it by losing 5 LP per turn. So if you do take a bad hit, you could die. The Existence Eaters is an interesting one. It allows you to absorb the energy of objects and beings you come in contact with. And in doing so, you increase your own key reserves. For every 5 points of presence you use, you gain 1 key point back from what you absorb. And inanimate objects cannot resist your ability to absorb them for more key. You can also absorb people of their key. And what you would do if you were touching someone when using this ability, your opponent must make a PHR check equal to double your presence. And you'll lose life points equal to half the level you fail by, and 1 key point for every 5 life points you lose. And the legacy user gains that key. Though, as a note, you cannot gain more key points than you have presence. So if you have 30, you can only gain 30. If you have 40, you only gain 40. Also, if you're combining this with a key technique that allows you to drain key or life points, you increase the PHR check by 40 plus ability as well. So, Venomous Essence allows you to poison other individuals in an innate way. You can deliver a poison. The VR difficulty treats the poison as 30 plus your presence, or 60 plus if they ingest it. Or if they elude you, it's 90 plus presence. The poison it becomes really bad real quick. And when you ingest the poison, you either suffer extreme pain or you fail at 40 or more, you die. You also get plus 20 to resisting toxic substances. So if you want to be a weird sex assassin or cuddle assassin, or you just want to poison dudes innately, it's pretty cool. Natural weapons. This one does not give you DP, but instead allows you to pick cool little abilities. You pick 2 of these from this list to be a part of your natural weapons. They can deal more damage, be faster, be precise, trapping, shields, whatever you want. It's really cool and flavorful. I like it. There's no real downside to it, and it's cool, like flavorful thing where you can have claws or whatever you want, really. Blood of the Dead. You spill some of your blood by sacrificing it, and you spending key to make a blood pool. And when you're using your ability, the life points to sacrifice count as an actual sacrifice. So it takes a long time to recover the life, but in doing so, you can reanimate a corpse as basically a blood marionette. The blood marionettes gain life points equal to quadruple that you sacrifice to animate them, but it cannot have more life than it had originally when it was a living creature. It acts based on your will, but keeps all of its original characteristics as a character. And based on how much blood you give it in life points is reduce the negative the blood marionette gets. So you want to give it quite a bit so it's not just a gimp. Though you can use techniques through them, which is pretty cool. You can take blood of the kami, which gives you divine blood, which just gives you humanity based no matter which one of the kami you give. Each kami gives you a bonus to MA usually or your martial knowledge, and one gives MA, one gives martial knowledge and key. They're pretty cool. They're nice role-playing ones, but not quite in the same sense as Blood the Dragon, which is our next one. To be my opinion on these is they're pretty meh. They're okay, but they're pretty boring to be honest. And Blood of the Dragon is similar because the power of it's left up to the DM, and it itself gives you no special abilities. I wouldn't recommend it unless you want to do a lot of dragon-based role playing. Finally, we have Latent Blood, which is the best one because what it lets you do is when you gain stat points, you can trade them in to buy more of these bloodline powers. So therefore, it's the best one. So if you want all the cool bloodline powers, you pick Latent Blood, and you can buy all the Legacy Blood. And that's all the Dominus Exit ones advantages. So let's go on to our next book. This is the GM Toolkit. The first one on this list is Hard to Kill. Hard to Kill gives you 10, 20, or 30 more life points per level, making it great if you want just more health and to be nice and tanky. Or if you're a low health character from due to low con, it's nice to get this to make up for your weaknesses. To the limit. When you're at 25% or lower health, you get a plus 20 all action bonus as long as your life or the lives of others are in peril. Oof, oof. When you're actually in that position, it's obviously good. However, once you get down to about half life points, you're really susceptible to just dying, really. In like a single hit, and if you do survive, the plus 20 doesn't counteract the all action penalty from the crit you survive, so it's kind of meh. I'd say I wouldn't pick it unless your character's built around being at low health. Supernatural immunity. It makes you immune to spells of psionic value X or less, so 60, 80, and 100, I believe. Sorry, it's 60, and then it would go up by 80 to 100, and then for the MR checks, it go 80, 100, 120. That's not bad. Though keep in mind, it does not protect you from the other tertiary effects of a spell, so as it suggests, if someone blasts the supports of a roof and it falls on you, you still die. Unlimited familiars. It lets normally you only have one familiar at a time. This lets you have as many as you want. That's really good. Having one familiar is like having another player character, so it's infinite extra player characters you could have. Very powerful. If you want to be the pet master, you pick it. Combat senses. It's the only 3 CP advantage. It's only 3 CP. It lets you pick a +5 class bonus to attack, block, or dodge, which does stack with your class bonus, but not beyond +50. So if you want a class bonus to those skills, but are not picking a class fit, you might want it. I think it's too expensive and should really only cost 2 CP. And I would not recommend picking it up ever, unless you really need that class bonus and don't want to switch classes. Increased natural bonus. It lets you double the usual bonuses when you apply your natural bonus to a skill from your characteristic for a secondary ability. So basically, every natural bonus counts as 2 for you. Really great if you're going for a skill monkey character or you just have high stats and want to make use of them. I like it. It's pretty good. Use of armor. It lets you get a class bonus to wear armor. 5, 10, or 15. It's not so bad. It's okay. I wouldn't recommend it myself for players because wear armor eventually tapers off from its usefulness, but if you just want passive wear armor and want to be able to slowly chip away at negatives from certain armors, then it's not so bad. Versatile. It reduces the DP cost from swapping classes by an amount. It explains it here. I don't think it's very good unless you're planning on doing a very strange multi-class character. Do you want to be a survivor? Then you want to pick this guy. It lets you increase your ability to survive by allowing you to go up to 10 times your con value in negative hit points instead of 5. And it applies a plus 40 bonus to your PHR to self-stabilize once you're dead. And when you are out of it and you're recovering, you're at half the negatives. Also, there's some other weird rule here for a different rule in this book that I'm just not going to talk about, but it's there. This is the best advantage of the book. In this book, Touched by Destiny, you pay 1 CP, and once per game session, when performing any kind of check, baby, you get a reroll, and you pick the better result. Just that simple. You can take this one as many times as you want to get more rerolls per session. So, yeah, it's really good. Take it 6 times. Get 6 rerolls, however you want to use it. It's very powerful. I'd recommend it. Psychic Immunity gives you a plus 60 to any composure check based on mitigating his emotional states. Unless using the insanity rules, this is a waste of a creation point. Just straight up. Talented, plus 3 to sleight of hands, and plus 3 to any contested dexterity check. If you're making a sleight of hand based character, you take this. Because 30 more sleight of hand is an extra stiletto you can throw with a stiletto based throwing character. I've been doing some testing with it, and I'm pretty sure 270 sleight of hand is as high as you can realistically go, probably at level 1. That is for how many stilettos you can throw, which means you could throw 9 of them per round. Pretty good if you ask me. I'd do it. Free Will. This gives you a plus 60 bonus to resisting being possessed. Doesn't come up very often, but when it does, you know you'll be fine. And finally, the Seducer. Do you want the members of the opposite sex or those who find you attractive to get in your pants? Well, this gives you a plus 60 to do it. So, keep in mind though, this only gives you a plus 60 bonus when seduction is a viable option. It does not always work. Some people are immune to your seductive charms. Opposite magic for magical users. So it lets you not have to double the magic level cost for learning spells from opposite paths. So you take this as necromancy, and you can buy every spell as if it were base cost. Very good if you want to be a super ultimate wizard. That learns all your spells. Magical nature. It gives you extra Xeon per level, and quite a lot of it. This is really good for characters who want high Xeon pools but don't want to invest too much DP into them. So if you really need a lot of MA, you take this so you can cover up for your lack of Xeon as you level up instead. Natural power. This lets you just use your power instead of your intelligence to determine how much power you can invest into spells, but does not help you with what kind of spells you could learn by giving you more magic levels, so it's not so good, but it's okay. Magical Diction. If you want to cast spells through a grimoire or scroll or book, you do not cut your MA in half. Pretty good if you're that kind of wizard. So I heard you're a psychic and you want some psychic ambivalence between good and evil. So what you can do is for every time you divide your potential to cast more powers, you get a cumulative bonus of +5 for each power that is declared. So if you divide it into 3, you get a +15 to them anyways. So it basically softens the blow for guys who want to do a lot of stuff at once. Increase psychic modifiers. It gives you doubles the bonuses for special conditions for your school of psychic. Pretty good if you find yourself in those situations often, but not so good if you don't. Here are some of the common disadvantages you might encounter, like being feeble, which means when you fall below 30 of your life points, you get a -30 action penalty until you recover. Not so bad. You might want to take it for an extra CP. Without any natural bonus, you lose all natural bonuses. That means you can't improve your skills over time with your natural bonuses. That sucks. Not so bad though, but still sucks. If you don't care about secondary abilities, then you might want it. Unlucky Destiny. You cannot open roll. Ever. I've only had one player take it, and he used those CP points to make the most broken mentalist he could. And because he was so powerful, he did not need open roll. So this is a great advantage for power gamers who want to push their character to the limits and just simply not need open rolls. Anyone else though, if you're just a casual player who wants to have fun by just playing the game normally, don't take it. You won't like it, and you'll get dunked on probably by monsters who open the crap out of you. Rookie, you have 100 less points of experience, and therefore, if you're start level 1, you're now level 0. Being the rookie means you might be a lot weaker for a while. Being level 0 means you only have 400 development points too. Keep that in mind. So being level 0 is very bad. But as long as your friends protect you, after you survive enough time, your DM will make you level 1 eventually. So it's only bad until you reach level 1, then it's like you never had it. So I like it. It's a really cool roleplay one to play as a character who's newer to adventuring. Cowardice. You are a craven coward, and you prefer to, well, run when things go bad. Uh, when you find yourself in true danger, you will submit to a state of fear. But you have to roll it is a control check, but I think it's a composure check what they mean. To compose yourself. And if you compose yourself, you only take a minus 20 electric penalty instead of the minus 60 from being in a state of fear. So, depending on what that means, being in true danger is up to you and the DM. But generally, the way I see it is if you're a wizard and you are safe in the back lines and no one's immediately threatening you with a weapon, you're not going to be afraid. But the second a guy gets you with a weapon, you're afraid and you're a coward. You're going to run away. Klutzy. If you're Klutzy, you have a minus 30 penalty to manual dexterity and a minus 3 dexterity. If you're a fighter, don't take this one. That's a minus 30 to all of your attack rolls and some of your defense rolls. That means you're not going to be a good fighter. But if you're like a wizard or something, then you can take it and maybe get away with it, or like a mentalist. So that's more for them, I guess. Insufferable. That means you are very annoying and your friends don't like you. Most people will approach you negatively. The effects of this are up to the DM, but generally people won't like you. Probably give you negatives to talking to people too. Pretty fun. Damned. This one comes in 2 points. A 1 point disadvantage isn't so bad. You suffer a negative effect at 1 advantage isn't so bad. Like maybe you misplace things fairly often, have to take some time to find them. Or maybe you just casually lose money over time because you don't realize that you don't keep it safe. If you take 2, you're under some horrible, terrible curse that carries the terrible, persistent effects. But generally that means likely your character will eventually die from the curse or suffer constant, persistent negative effects that negatively impact your life. If you're willing to live dangerously, this is a good one to pick and a fun one too. And that leaves us to just the Gaia book. Here are some optional background advantages. These are to give your character some like flavor. So there's fame. There's a system in this book for fame, and eventually I'll go for the extra mechanic in this book probably too. But it's what you think. Having lots of fame means people know you. Cultural roots, same mechanic in this book. Every culture and class of culture have specific roots that give them bonuses and secondary abilities, and if you take this advantage, you get those. So it's pretty nice actually, mechanically. Saint. This is a role-playing advantage. You need to be a supernatural character, so that means you use magic, key abilities, mentalism, or something similar. But basically, it means the Inquisition and the Church have branded you as someone who is not a devil worshiper and uses their powers responsibly. Generally, you're an agent of the Inquisition to some degree, and that means people are pretty cool if you showing off your powers to like help people out. Though it does not give you free reign, and he's obligated to try and not show his abilities in public. But if you're using them to help people, they're not going to mind. Keep in mind, though, if you do something terrible and they find out about it, they will strip away your sainthood immediately. Social positioning. This lets you play as a merchant or noble without needing to roll some bullshit random die and just having it. Purely for role playing. Contacts is also a nice role playing advantage, but it lets you know a guy or two, or a guy in the group. The more CP put into it, is the more effective it is. So each of these organizations have a base CP cost just to know someone in it, but the more you put in, the more high ranking that person is. This is a great role playing advantage. Do you want to know a High Inquisitor and maybe have a deal with him? Or maybe you want to contact the Black Sun? Or maybe you just are in the underworld and or know some crime lord. It's pretty good. And this chart can also be used for powerful ally. Determine not only do you know someone, but you have someone in particular who is willing to support you. Pretty good. And then background disadvantages. You can be a social pariah, which means people in certain social groups just don't like you. Powerful enemy. Opposite of powerful ally. Do you want someone hunting you down to kill you? Yeah? Then take this one. If you don't, no. I would call this one a good side quest at disadvantage because it gives you a side quest to take this guy out or make him stop chasing you down. And eventually, you make this disadvantage just not be a thing anymore, and you got 2 CP. Debt. You owe someone 10,000 gold crowns, and you're obligated to pay them 500 gold crowns every month, or bad things will happen to you. This is another great side quest. Maybe you're gathering treasure to pay off your debt, or maybe you're working to, like, kill or destroy the person who you're in debt with. But generally, this debt might not be one of your own. Maybe it's for one of your parents who need hospital aid. And without paying off this debt, they have collateral on you to get the money back and force you to pay them back. It's a great role playing disadvantage and can give your character a strong motivation to be an adventurer. Code of conduct. Sounds like it sounds. Your character has a code of conduct that you must follow. Uh, that should be somewhat related to your country of origin or your character. And finally, a dirty little secret. You've done something terrible. Terrible. But no one but you knows about it. Or so you think. If this little secret ever got out, you'd be in serious trouble. This is great for a character who may have taken fame as well. Because maybe they're famous for, like, for example, slaying a dragon, but in reality, someone else killed the dragon, but then you killed them to take the credit for it while everyone else was dead or distracted, and then someone might find out that you're a murderer. Well, that's all the advantages. I hope this guide was helpful in determining what are the good ones, what are the bad ones, and God, this is a very long video. Oh, I didn't realize this was an hour and a half. So what I'm going to do is, originally this is going to be one just big video, but since it's an hour and a half, I'm going to have this split into 2 parts, I think, in like 45-minute chunks. I guess this end part right now here is a note to myself to make sure to split this video. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll make sure to cut out the note and instead I go this. Well, that was all the advantages in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. If you have any questions, then feel free to leave a comment on the videos. Anyways, I will see y'all on the flip side.
Oh, we're in this channel now. Hello. How's it going? Ooh. can't wait to see it.